You might remember heading to the polls in March of 2020, just before the start of the pandemic, to vote on your favorite candidate in the presidential preference primary. But the General Assembly voted to do away with that process. Now voters in each party will need to participate in a caucus to choose how delegates are decided.
With what Missouri used to do, we would have a primary and then we would have a caucus. So it really didn't make sense to have both.
Instead of heading to the polls every 4 years to vote in a primary race, caucuses will get to decide how delegates are awarded.
That's one potential pro about this is Republicans get to do it the way they want to, Democrats get to do it the way they want to, Libertarians get to do it the way they want to.
In a caucus, members of each political party meet and divide into groups according to which candidate they want to win. Then the number of votes in each group decides how many delegates each candidate wins.
Because at that caucus, they might actually turn these people from a different candidate to their candidate.
While Secretary of State Jay Ashcorft has no say or involvement in this process, he's concerned some voters might feel left out.
How do you, with a caucus, make sure we provide an opportunity for every registered voter to participate?
While Missouri Republicans will caucus in person in counties across the state in March, Democrats are primarily using mail-in ballots, meaning Democratic voters must be affiliated with the party in order to vote.
Doing this will save the state about $10 million. I'm sure that after we're done with the caucus, we will have a discussion about whether or not the legislature should have removed the primary or not, whether or not we should go back to that.
Last year, some lawmakers tried to reinstate the presidential preference primary, but the proposal failed. Both chairs of the Missouri Republican Party and the Democratic Party say they're in favor of reinstating it. The Republican caucuses will start at 10 a.m. on March 2nd, and besides mailers, the Democratic Party will also offer in-person voting on March 23rd. Reporting from Missouri Capitol Bureau, I'm Emily Manley.